So here in the Southwest Idaho growing region, we are between the 43rd and 44th parallel, which means we have really nice long day lengths, long warm day length growing hours. So hops love that.
We have a nice terroir, and for those that don't understand terroir, that's typically a word they use to associate the soil with the flavors that are produced in hops and or wine. And Idaho's terroir is different from Washington and different from Oregon, so it gives us all a unique taste and or feel to the products that you're buying. And we have been told that there are varieties of hops that come from Idaho that they can only get that certain characteristic from.
Hops are perennial crops, so they come back every year, so we don't have to plant them every year. And because of that, essentially we then prepare for stringing, and there's so many things that go into planting for a crop. And really you have to start at the end to begin, right? So we have to harvest hops at different times based on the variety. And when we're doing that, we have to also time, when they're gonna be trained, because they have to be trained at different times based on the variety. And there's just a lot that goes into it. If they're babies versus adults, that also impacts things. And baby hops are first-year hops. So there's just a whole plethora of things that kind of go into it.
So H2A is a guest worker program. We get workers out of Mexico. They come up here for a stint of anywhere from 3 months to 8 months. We bring out 350 people in. And if without that program, we couldn't operate.
Yeah, so we really have a strong connection and focus on our soil fertility. You go to the gym when you're healthy, not when you're sick. So if we can get that plant to maintain a really healthy vitality, then it's likely that it will be more resistant to pests and also be more, more prolific, better oil, better alpha, aroma, whatever we're kind of shooting for. But really kind of starts from the ground up, and learning about different products and inoculants and mycorrhizal fungi and all the good bacterias, and really trying to balance that soil out has been a big focus for us in the last, I would say, 5 years.
The vines, they grow up, and it has to all be hand tied from the top in the spring with strings that come down to the ground that have to be put in the soil by hand.
There's kind of a standard that you kind of want your hops to be wire high by 4th of July. So from May to July is just a phenomenal season to see the hops growing here, and that is the warming hours, the day length, the sunlight. Another thing is our access to water. We have phenomenal irrigation and water rights here in the state of Idaho that gives us the ability to be successful, a successful growing region.
There's challenges in farming, and being able to adapt and adjust is probably the most important thing that you can do as a farmer, because it is always changing. The plan that you had in March might not be a reality in July. So I think that's something that you just have to be constantly thinking of different ways and creative ideas to adapt.
Once cut from the plant, the hop bines are taken from the field to the farm's facilities to continue the harvest process. Cones are then removed from the plant in the picker before heading to the kiln. In the kiln, the cones are then dried on large floors to reduce moisture while retaining the oils essential for making great beer. Once dried, the cones are cooled and baled. Bales are then loaded onto trucks and taken to Mill 95.
It's impossible for us to make a high quality product if our raw product coming in isn't top notch. So our relationships with the farmers are super important. They care a lot. They are high touch, high care, highly driven people.